A few minutes.
That was practice, yeah.
That was practice. No, with the BCS. No, with the BCS, the foobar roll right at the beginning of each activation can really screw you over because you can get a full activation, a partial activation, or no activation. And then you can attempt to activate twice if you wanted to. You can activate a second time possibly. So it's just really, really good. I really like it, and they're finally getting some East Front. I'm not a big I've tried to play the Bulge one, and the only problem with the Bulge one is that the counters are the same color as the map. East Front.
Ruff, do you want to send out to your people, let them know you're online?
I've done that already.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll give everyone a couple minutes to catch up. Get the broadcast out that we're live. So we'll give everyone just a minute here. So
how do you do that?
Hex to Hex, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you stepping in, and lots of good questions I have for you. So hopefully you don't have to stick around the whole time. Whenever you decide to get bored, when we get too mean on you, then you can just take off. But
and he will.
I will. I've got a rant.
I
was trying to actually create a nice intro to my rant, but it didn't work out.
Hey, I got another
go ahead. But it's not against you, so it's against these game developers. And oh my God, these game developers that think they're YouTubers, it's driving me crazy.
You got another rant coming up.
Oh,
I love some rant. I love me some rants.
Bring it on.
We'll get to that later. But man, I'm telling you, I was trying to watch some videos from a game developer on YouTube, and literally he'd talk like this, he'd do his thing over here, you couldn't even hear what he was saying, he'd come back, then it'd be too loud because he'd be right here on the microphone.
So you need to get professionals in to do it, like us.
Oh my God, driving me crazy, these game developers.
All right, save it.
We'll save it. So let's start off. Anything new? Anybody pick up anything this week? Any goodies come in?
I found out my Kickstarter for that Solitaire, the B29, the Solitaire air game. They've already started printing it. They started printing it before Kickstarter ended, and they're going to have it mailed out after Thanksgiving. So I should have it pretty quick. It'll be the fastest Kickstarter I have ever received, even if I don't get it till 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. But they already, when they had already hit their goal, they already started printing it. So once they hit funding, they already started printing it. So they were printing it before the Kickstarter campaign ended.
Which one is this for?
That was, let me pull it up. It was a Solitaire, kind of like a B-17, something like that.
Yeah, once again, it's the old postage and shipping.
They said they're actually going to be selling them. Where did I see that? They're going to be selling them live. You're going to be able to get them even if you didn't get in on the Kickstarter.
But the postage, that's the
thing.
Yeah,
over the pond, just it's the 8th Air Force and 20th Air Force Solitaire game.
Right. Yeah.
FortressGames.net is the website.
I'll ask them if they'll send me a copy. They can only say no.
Right.
I can't. Air games and naval games, I can't. That's just not mine. I got to have hexes and land and tanks and grunts.
You got to have boots on the ground.
Yeah, that's my thing.
What do you got there, Jeff?
I got actually a couple of viewers. One of them had a game that I wanted to finish off my the Clash of Arms, the Hex Space Grand Campaign series, and that's that Robert E. Lee. That was the first one that John Prados made. It's got the real thin counters in it, but I'm just looking at the black and white map, and even this map is gorgeous. So I'm probably going to cut that one out. And then that was from Thomas Beach, actually, and this one here was from Doug Gearhart. Down south. He had a second copy of this. He sent me this one here, and it's that Cedar Mountain from, I don't know how they say it. Do they say Wivictus or Vivictus? But that's an area-based game, and I saw Kyle Seeley put it up, and he did a video on it, and then he never followed up. So I'm gonna get this thing out and see what this looks like. I'm curious to that. And then
basement makes me jealous.
What's that?
Kyle's basement makes me jealous.
Oh, yeah, that conference room he's got, that assembly hall.
Yeah.
Hey,
Should be allowed.
You imagine how many games I'd set up if I had that bigger room? My God.
Give me about 10 years. 10 years, I should have about half of that space.
Well, I'm thinking of getting a 6x2 table, and that's going to be a problem where to put that. That's my problem. You see, Kyle, got a whole bottom of the house.
Yeah, but you don't like any of these giant games anyhow. You could lay out on a 6x2. You could lay out 3 single map games.
That's exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
So if I get fed up with one, I can, be learning another one while I'm videoing a game. At the moment, I have to video the game, put it away, get another one out, go through it, learn it, and that's what takes the time. And I don't get to really enjoy the game because it's, pack away, get another one out. If I had a bigger table, I could what am I going to do next? Right, let's get that out and have a little fiddle around with it while I'm videoing this one. So hopefully, but I just got to find out where to put it and not upset she who must be obeyed.
Yeah, no, I'll stay by myself in my 2-bedroom apartment with my big room to play in. So.
Well, yeah.
Well, Jeff, why don't you, for the new people out there or people that's going to join us or watch us later on YouTube or whatever, kind of introduce yourself, introduce your channel, talk about what you do on your channel, videos, games you play, and stuff like that, just for people that might not know of you.
All right. Well, as you see, my name's Jeff. My screen name is usually quoted in any online game I might play. My YouTube channel is Hex to Hex. I'm mostly a hex-based World War I, World War II, Napoleon. American Civil War is probably my go-to war gamer. I started back in this, I started back in the 70s when, did SPI and Avalon Hill were pretty much the only thing in existence. And I was definitely on the SPI side of the house. I think one of the stories that I like to relate to that was when I was in, I think I was 8 or 9 years old, my mama we went down to see my grandmother down in Falls Church, Virginia. And I had some birthday money, and I went and bought my first game, and it was SPI. And I keep getting confused whether it was Grenadier or it was called Musket and Pike. It had nothing but a bunch of blank maps, and it had various scenarios from all kinds of different ages. And I bought that game, and then that got me started. And a couple of years later, Christmas time, my mom knew I wanted Terrible Swift Sword. And Terrible Swift Sword was my second game. I wanted it so bad that I couldn't wait for Christmas. I broke into her closet and busted that thing out and had it set up underneath my bed. Yeah, I paid the dickens for that one. Then years went on. I went into service, and a story somebody asked me about, or I told somebody the other day, I'd come back from basic and AIT, and this was in 81, and I was getting ready to deploy to Germany. And down in Falls Church, I can't remember the name of the darn store, but it was near the old State Theater. We had a game store in there. And I went in there to buy a game to take with me overseas. I had just bought Army Group South, the quad, while I was at Fort Knox. And I wanted to buy me a game or two to go take it with me overseas. And I can't even remember what I picked up in the store, but the guy that was running the store, he said, look, and he said, since you're deploying, he said, I'm going to go ahead and let you pick out a game for free. I said, really? He said, yeah, any game you want. Yeah, I grabbed Campaign for North Africa. And I took that monster, never played it, tried to fill out the charts one time, but yeah, I was stagnant. I mean, I played a game every now and then while I was overseas. I was over in Europe for like 7 years, and then I was back at Fort Carson, Colorado, Fort Knox, Fort Drum, New York, and then I was all over the world, so I never really got to play. And I think last winter sometime, I opened my closet in my second bedroom, and I said, look at that, Terrible Swift Sword. I said, let's play that. And then I think I've spent about $12,000 in the last year buying all these games that I'm missing over the years. So there's no savings. My grandkids don't ask me for any money anymore because there's none to give them. I spend it all on me right now. So But hey, come over to Hex to Hex at YouTube. I try to do some instructional stuff. I try to do some live playthrough stuff. I at least do some game turn review stuff. Like I say, if it's between World War I, Napoleon, World War II, and the Civil War, I might possibly have it, or I'm played it already, or I will eventually play it. And those of you that are already there, thanks a ton, guys. I appreciate the support over there.
Hey, David, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.
I know. I know, David. It's coming. I'm hoping God, I got a lot I want to get done, but definitely I've got the counters. I'm clipping the counters right now for SPQR. So I'll get it done. I know I keep saying it, but you know, life just keeps getting in the way right now.
Ruff,
yeah, I'm waiting for it.
What'd you get this week? Anything good?
Well, I didn't. I got Africa Corps, Panzer Grenadier. I do like a bit of Panzer Grenadier, and there was a couple of booklets. They print a lot of booklets with extra scenarios, some with extra counters. Yeah. And I saw a couple of those going pretty cheap, so I've ordered those. But the problem is, I need a couple of games I haven't got. But one of the games with those expansions, if you like, is Eastern Front. So at least I can give a few of those a go when I get around to it. But and the other thing that's turning up, a while back, I think it's Kevin from, I forget the name. Oh, forgive me. But they had a game called The Shores of Tripoli coming out, and he wanted to send me a copy. And never heard anything else. He said I should be sending it out sort of October, July, depending on COVID. Then it was October. And I never heard anything else. And then I see everybody and his dog has got a copy of it and doing an open the box of it. And I thought, oh, well, maybe he's decided, not to send it. But I had a notification through, it's turning up Monday. So it may be that it's taken that long to get over to us, and and that's when I'm going to get it. And people that will stock it will in the UK will get it as well. So I should be doing number 27 unboxing of The Shores of Tripoli, which looks really good actually. It's a simple game, lightweight game, good intro, a lot of history in it. And it's got sort of wooden ship meeples, whatever you call them, in it as well. And the components are supposed to be really good. So I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for sending it.
Is that the GMT Shores of Tripoli? Is that
no? It's a new company, a sort of indie company. It's their first or second game. I'm not sure.
Is that the one everybody's been reviewing lately?
Yeah.
Everybody.
There's been like 20 people that have done that. Yeah.
So he's obviously sent out a lot, and me being late to the party as per blooming normal, I can get mine Monday. Well, it says it's turning up Monday, so it must have taken that long for it to get across. Otherwise, I would have done it with everybody else's unboxings. But I'm looking forward to it.
Well, they probably sent it across on a U-boot.
Yeah.
It's Ford Circle. The company's Ford Circle game. It's their first one.
That's it. And it's Kevin, I think. Is it Kevin or Keith? I know it begins with a K. They're the owner. Seems a nice chap.
Kevin.
Yeah, we're right. Kevin.
Kevin Bertram.
Yeah. So his idea, which would be maybe good for you, Tony, his idea is to instill and teach history through the game. So
I'm up. I'm always up for stuff like that. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh, Jester, I know where you are. Tony, where are you at? What state are you in?
Ohio.
So you both in Ohio?
No.
No, I'm not in Ohio.
Oh, I thought you were in Ohio, Jester.
No, I grew up in Ohio. I moved to Florida 5 years ago. Yeah.
All right.
So
Tony, I'm just over the hill from you, Tony. I'm over here in WV. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm Northwest Ohio. I'm up in Toledo.
Okay. All right.
So that's a little bit farther, but yeah. Yeah.
I know I was from Ohio because I always had my Buckeye stuff on, but
that's why I thought so.
I'm still a Buckeye fan. I live in Florida. Yeah.
And Ruff, you're in what, Czechoslovakia or Yugoslavia?
You taking a mic?
He's in Poland. He's in Poland.
speaking of Poland, that's the first scenario I'm going to play in that War in Europe game.
Jeff, what's your sweet spot? What's your sweet spot? If you only can have one era, is it Revolutionary War? Is it Napoleon? Is it World War I, World War II? What do you think your sweet spot is?
Man, well, if you'd asked me that 2 weeks ago, it's definitely the American Civil War. Anything super grand tactical, the American Civil War. But right now, like I said, I'm starting to get addicted to this OCS and World War II stuff. So, but yeah, if you told me I had to choose, it would be anything grand tactical, American Civil War.
American Civil War, grand tactical. How many games? Like, what are we talking? Like, what kind of games?
Well, I mean, obviously, Terrible Swift Sword, the granddaddy of all of that. So anything at that scale. I did just pick up a battalion level game called Huzzah about the wilderness. I punched it, but I haven't broke it out to play yet. So I'm curious to see that one. Bloody April from SPI. 3 days ago, any of the GBACW games. I mean, I own the entire collection from Stonewall all the way to my P500 for Into the Woods. I've got the entire Richard Berg. If it says Berg on it, I'll buy it. So, you could put a turd in a box and put Richard Berg's name on it, and I'm going to buy it. So, but any of those very, very deep down regiment level type tactical Civil War games, I've probably got I would say that 50% of my game inventory is American Civil War.
Wow.
So
wow. That's some dedication there.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about the Huzzah system. Like I don't have it. I've looked at it, but heard some good things about it.
Well, I'm hearing this was it Stonewall sword system?
Yeah, the blind swords is what it is. Stonewall, yeah. Stonewall sword was I think the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got 3 or 4 of those. So
yeah, I have the Kernstown. No, not Kernstown. Longstreet Attacks, because Gettysburg has I have a family connection to Gettysburg.
Okay.
Especially Little Round Top. My second great grandfather fought next to the 183rd Pennsylvania and the 20th Maine. They're like the 3rd Regiment in from the 20th Maine on Little Round Top. So.
I'm about an hour, 10 minutes from Gettysburg. I've been going up there twice a year since I was except for while I was in the service. But if everybody asks me, hey, if you can take a vacation wherever, anywhere in the world you want to go, every time I'm gonna say Gettysburg. I love the place. I've walked it. I've studied it. That's probably why I'm bit by the Civil War. Hey, Doug, look what I got.
Thanks. We talked about it a little bit ago.
The blind sword system that was developed by Herman, wasn't it? Herman Luttman?
It's the Herman Luttman system. Yep. I don't like the maps. I'll be honest. I'm not a big Rick Barber fan on the maps.
Oh, they're lovely. I've got the other one.
Kernstown?
Kernstown, yes.
Right.
It doesn't. American Civil War. I know it's a war game, and I should love it, all war games, but I can't. Maybe because I'm not American, and I know some Brits and Europeans are into the American Civil War, but it just doesn't ring my bell. Maybe you ask me in 6 months, I've gone like Jeff and gone bonkers, But the maps, I love the map. I love them.
Those Rick Barber maps, I don't. They look too cartoony. I know I might be in the minority on this, but I'm not a big fan of them.
No, but that's your opinion. That's it. That's the thing. One man's meat is another man's not. So
I'd have to say I'm a big Simonich fan, anyways. So every map that he does all the map artwork for the GBA CW games, and so I guess but
the American Revolution. I quite like that. I do like. Yeah. I've got the tri-pack. And the maps in that are beautiful. They're Simonich maps, I believe. So great. Yeah. The American Revolution. Yeah.
Well,
because it involves us.
I'm a geographic information specialist. So I do mapping for local government, for county. So hand me the old SPI, the simple. I love those things. But then when I see one of these new maps with all this great artwork, I love this stuff. The headache I think that everybody hollers about with Rick is trying to determine, well, damn, what terrain class am I in? And in OCS, and Tony, you'll vouch for this. I like the defenders rule in OCS, where hey, no, my tanks are in that terrain. I love that.
You get to choose the terrain.
Yeah.
Well, what are you looking at? What is it? A 5 mile or 2.5 miles? Something like that. You're gonna have a choice. You're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna stand in the open when you've got like hills over here.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. It's like, okay, the defender gets to choose. And if you're playing, the nice thing is if you do play by email, which OCS is playable by email, you can just say, okay, as a defender, you're automatically going to be in the best. You're not going to choose the worst terrain, so you can still play it and stuff like that. So, hey, Clay,
Stone is in the house. You guys,
hi.
War games. Wow,
that's the Goss Man there, isn't it? I think is that still Stone, the Goss Man?
Yeah. I've watched him play. There's about 3 or 4 guys playing that. I was impressed. For sure. Him and 2 other guys were playing, I think Atlantic Wall 2 Aprils ago, because last April I didn't get to make it. Or was it last April? It was last April. No, 2 Aprils ago it got canceled. That's right. Stupid COVID. As my sons say, stupid coronavirus. It was like, ruin everything.
So Jeff is now part of our Council of Elders. He's going to help us pick out games for our awards called the Hexies. So Jeff is going to be helping out on that. So now we've got us 4. We have Big Board Gaming, and we have Private Public. So we have only 1 spot left. It's up for sale, that last spot. If you're interested, email me, and we'll see if we can get you in the group.
Yeah, thanks, Wardrobe. Yeah, it was Atlantic Wall. That's right. Yeah, it was amazing. I was impressed for sure.
I was just saying about awards. Did you hear? It was on No Enemies Here today that there's another award ceremony just come out of the woodwork from Little TV Wars.
Little Wars TV.
Little Wars TV, even. Yeah, sorry. I've been sipping.
What are they doing? Why are they coming out of the woodwork now?
They've got the idea from us, obviously. But
what the hell?
But to give them credit, their award is for the best YouTube channel only.
Well, we're going to have that as well.
So,
but here's the thing. We can win that one. We can't win our own.
Well, that's true.
So I'm okay with that. If it's one of those things. If these YouTube channels, want to do something like this, I'm all for it, because I really think it will spread out. Me and Kev, I've known Kevin for a while, and I take his. I know what he likes, and I know his reviews, and generally they're pretty impartial. And if he likes the game, I'm like, well, I know what he likes, and I know if it would be good for me. So the more people that are doing kind of these awards, it kind of gives you a wider variety, and certain games can win other awards that, maybe somebody else might not even look at. If we can spread the love around, I'm all for that, just to get more people playing and just to get more of the games out there played. I think some of the smaller publishers kind of get overlooked. I really do. So
yeah, I think you're right, Tony. Yeah, and as Todd says, they are primarily a miniatures channel, and he says they've got some other awards. So it's going to be primarily miniatures, which is good for miniature tabletop gaming. Which you can get in the other awards.
I want to know. Well, here's my question, and this is a serious question. Why do we talk about something and then, like, literally within 2 weeks, somebody else is doing the same thing that we talk about? Why does that happen every episode?
I think you've answered your own question there. We must our tentacles must reach out to the ends of the earth, and everybody and anyone, they go, oh, that's a good idea, let's nick it. So yeah, Yeah.
We should get some credit for all these ideas we're giving people. I mean, come on. We're gonna have to start. I'm gonna have to get my attorneys involved. We're gonna have to start. Putting some. We're gonna have to patent our ideas. That's all there is to it. We're gonna have to patent our ideas because.
Well, Little Wars, they dropped off the video market there for a while, because I remember it wasn't but a few weeks ago seeing one of their YouTube videos saying, "Hey, we're coming back now," and then all of a sudden, boom! I saw this pop up, and I'm like, "Whoa, that's awful quick."
Of course, they were doing, because of COVID, because of the miniatures. It's kind of hard to play miniatures. Todd does a great job, but a lot of people cannot do that, solo. And so I know the two of them, they couldn't get together because of COVID and stuff like that. So, trendsetters, yes. Thank you, David. Never thought I'd be a part of a word that word,
You're
fashionable.
I just keep carrying you, Tony. That's all.
I know. Hey, I'm going to ride your coattails as much as I can.
God damn.
Yeah, we all are.
My God.
Yeah, all I can say is 102 to 265. So
I'm at 266. So.
Doing good.
I need to start doing more DVG games, apparently, because that's, I think, how Ruff got his subscribers up. He's doing all those DVG games that everybody loves.
And I'll tell you what everybody loves as well is the things like the Hunters, and that's had my biggest views, the Hunters. But yeah, DVG, but then some of the others have had big hits. It's just you keep on keeping on, don't you? It's
I'd rather do what I'm interested in because it makes me want to play the game.
And I do rather than doing it because I have to.
Yeah.
And that doesn't occur very often, if at all.
And we know Jester plays whatever the hell he wants, considering he was playing Arkham Horror on his channel last night, which I had to go because I had to get the kids to bed. Did you die?
It was Eldritch Horror.
Eldritch Horror, yeah.
You'll get emailed, you know that, don't you? This isn't a war game.
Oh, well, I play what I want to play.
Exactly.
I play whatever the hell I want to play. Whether, if U-Boat can win War Game of the Year, and that's got 1 million cards, I don't see why I can't play a game with 1 million cards. So they must all be war games, which is interesting because I got an email from someone last week or maybe the week before. I don't think we talked about it last week, but we talked about what was a war game, right? A couple episodes ago. And somebody emailed me and said, a war game is any game where you spend most of your time fighting. And I thought, that sounds like a pretty good explanation. You spend most of your time fighting. That would cancel out a lot of these other games. Like U-Boat, you spend most of your time just sailing around, not doing anything.
And cooking.
But then I thought, well, you take a game like, Legendary, right? You spend most of your time fighting in that game. So is this considered a war game?
Dungeons and Dragons. All you do, go around fighting orcs and monsters.
No. I mean, that's. I don't think you spend most of your time fighting in Dungeons and Dragons. It takes the longest, but I don't think you spend most of
your time playing it.
Hey, Steelstone's got a good question.
Steelstone, hey fellas, what war game lately has pulled you into this story, or in the past few war games have bland for you? Well, let's let our special guest talk about this first.
Well, let's see. So you pulled into the story, I'm sure you mean by pulled me into the atmosphere of that game that I was playing, or maybe that era.
You make you felt like you're part of history, like something was going on and you were motivated to find out what was going to happen to all these units and all these things that were going on in the map.
Well, any of the Civil War ones I pull out will do that to me. But I'd have to say right now that I've got Tunisia on the table and I've got Operation Typhoon on the table, and from SPI. And the Typhoon one threw me for a loop for the first few turns. And somebody actually sent me a comment about don't get too worried about that doesn't look right, because you know how this is going to turn out on the East Front. The Soviets will eventually start to fill the gaps in and create holes. And sure enough, that's happened. And then I start thinking about how the East Front went. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is kind of falling in right in place. And that kind of sucked me in. The Tunisia ones really got me because when I started playing Tunisia, I was under a false impression that the Allies had actually won in Tunisia in the scenario that I'm playing. And I could feel myself, in my own little mind that, hey, yeah, I'm sucked into this. I'm going to go drive right on over here to Tunis. And then a couple of days later, I read, well, wait, no, they didn't win that. They got pushed back. And then, sure enough, 2 turns, I started seeing some of these DAC Panther or Panzer units showing up, and the table changed. And I'm like, oh shit, this is fitting. So I mean, I've got 3 games on the table right now, and all 3 of them drag me in. And I think that's why I can't decide which damn one I'm gonna go back there and play each day.
Ruff, what about you?
Yeah, well, just before I go on, it always makes me smile when you pronounce that African place, Tunisia. Is it? How do you say it?
Tunisia.
Yeah, it's over here. We call it Tunisia, which is, I believe, the correct way of saying it.
In Czechoslovakia, they say Tunisia.
I would think no, they don't say Tunisia. They say, I can't even think what it is now. But yeah, I smile every time I hear Tunisia said like that. But anyway, back to the question. All games, and it's not a cop out. If I can't be drawn in to a game, people say the narrative-driven games are things like the solo games, like the Hunters and the Hunted and Silent Victory, B-17, Target for Today. But even playing Crowbar, which was, is a great game. I was drawn into that, trying to get these poor Rangers, and I'm feeling for them. And they, oh no, we've got another loss. Oh crikey, they're down to 2 SPs. Blah blah blah. So if a game doesn't draw me in, then what's the point? That's why we play these games, isn't it? To escape, a bit of escapism, a bit of excitement. So no, I don't think any game doesn't draw me in. Otherwise, I won't play it.
So you never played a game that just threw you out? Because I mean, I've had it in the past where it just didn't appeal to me.
And I don't get it, or I don't see what the fascination is. I mean, I'm pushing stuff around for Men of War at the moment, Men of Iron at the moment, and I'm there with my bowman, and come on, and oh god, the French are coming, or if we're playing the French, the Flanders guys and people are attacking us. So yeah, no, they all draw me in, which is why I play these games. If that's a
what about you, Tony?
Well, right now, and I keep playing because Hex keeps telling me to keep going. But if it wasn't for him, I probably would have put away Rock of the Marne because it was not drawing me in. But I keep getting told you got to wait till the Allied offensive, and so that's the next turn. The Allied offensive is going to start. So it's like that book that you read or a movie that you watch where it's just such a slow beginning, and it takes you a real while. I know this game is probably going to end up being really good, but man, the start was just it was like the Germans, basically the Allies had nothing to do except for try to defend as much as possible. And then they just got run over by the Germans. And I can see that a lot of Allies attack due to the stacking rules are going to be 1-to-1, 2-to-1, but they get a lot of aircraft. So that'll help out a lot, I think. But that one really it hasn't pulled me. It's been kind of bland, but we'll see what happens in the next couple turns. But, I really got into Liberty or Death, and somebody put a comment on and how I would play the Indians. I was struggling on how to play the Indians. I really was like, what should I do for them? And he gave me some points and some turns on some comments. I can't remember who it was, but I do appreciate it because now I know how I play the Indians. The Indians are more, you want to play those guys just to keep the opposition down. That's really what you want to do, and to kind of keep, if you're playing 4-player, to keep a check on the Brits. But really, if you're playing the 2-player the way I played it, as more of the rebels and the royalists or the loyalists, they are there to help keep the rebel opposition down. So, but that one got me sucked in. I was like, I can't wait to play it again. and you can tell I really liked it because I was flying through the turns and flying through the cards as much as possible. And that was really good. And then the hunters, I couldn't stop doing that. That was so much fun. But really, this Rock of the Marne, I'm hoping it turns out, because if after the next couple turns, if it doesn't grab me, I'm pulling it off the table. I want to get SPQR on. So, but I want to get Rock of the Marne done first, because if I don't, I'll put it off.
Why is that? Is it because of the subject matter? Is it the mechanics?
What, for Rock of the Marne?
Yeah. No, for Rock of the Marne.
It's not. It has nothing to do with the subject matter. I'm interested in World War One. The mechanics are very, like I was saying earlier, they're simplistic, but not
simple.
Oversimple.
Simplistic, I think, is the way they call them.
They're standard. So basically, any standard war game. It's just how many turns. I mean, I'm going on to turn 6.
Nothing's happened.
And nothing has happened with the Allies. I've done a few small attacks when I thought the odds were there, and then of course I rolled like crap for the Allies. Yeah. But so what's going to happen now is getting the German headquarters supplied is going to be a lot tougher now, and the Allies are going to be a lot easier. So it's definitely going to flip flop. So it may just totally flip flop, and that would be interesting. I'll be interested to see how that works. But it's got to grab me in the next couple turns, or else I don't know.
Well, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to interrupt you if you were.
No.
You're I came on at the end. I wasn't sure if you're done. So I want to be, of course, I've always got to be the opposite of you guys, right? I've got, because I've got to play devil's advocate, because otherwise, it wouldn't be normal.
Yeah.
But for me, like, story is the most important thing ever. Doesn't matter what you're doing, the story, the memories you make, and everything is what, for me, is the most important thing. For me, most war games don't involve story. For me, now some people are different. Ruff can see story, you can see story your way, or anything like that. But I don't see like an evolution, like when you play, say, Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, right? You got some kind of characters are going through a story, they're evolving, they're doing things. War games, for me, most war games don't normally do that. Now, there is a few exceptions, like the DVG games, like when you do Tiger Leader, Panzer Leader, or something like that, where your commanders earn experience and stuff like that. Those games draw me in a little bit more, because it seems like the characters are evolving. They have their own, they were on these missions and they did these things and they earned some experience points and they went up and they got a better rank or whatever like that. So those are the games, the war games for me. But if I play like Lock and Load Tactical, does the story, there's no story for me in Lock and Load Tactical. I'm just moving around a bunch of counters.
Yeah, but Jester, I've been watching the games you've been playing recently in your streams, and I'm going to take a similar approach to my war games, the way you, in these, like the Eldritch Horrors and stuff, you develop a story with your play. And when I play one of these war games, I'm like, okay, here's what I want. Give me the objective, give me what I need to attain from either side, and let me build my own story. Don't, one of the games I'm looking forward to is the Line of Battles, their Gettysburg Monster. Eventually I'm going to get to that. But every time I watch somebody that has done coverage on it, they talk about how the creator put rules in so that you can't exceed past a certain point as the Confederate Army on the first day. Well, look, everybody in the world knows that on the first day of Gettysburg, it could have been over. So why can't I develop my own story and apply that in that game instead of having to be restricted? You do it in every one of these games I've been watching, and you guys do it in the Hunters too, because are those missions, are they historical? Or are they just giving you, okay, here's a random situation for that? I'm one of those, I want to know what happened, and I want to change what happened. That's what I want to play.
Yeah, and I'm like the exact opposite of you. I want to relive history, to be there in the moment that it happened. I don't want to rewrite it. I don't want to change it. I don't like doing any of that stuff. And even when I was playing like the sports simulations, right? I'd always play the actual players that played in the game because I wanted to relive what had actually happened in that game. Same thing with war games. I want to relive and replay what had happened in that moment of time. Titanic for everyone was a horrible, horrible movie because of all the Hollywoodness and everything. But for me, I really enjoyed Titanic because it puts you in that moment in history with all the crazy, stupid things that had happened. But it puts you in the moment of history. So I enjoy things like that where I'm in the moment of history. I can see what's going on.
Yeah, I think with me, it's more the situation. I mean, the historical aspect of it is, important and interesting. But, you said lock and load tactical. That is, to me, it's my guys trying to get an objective. It may not be a historical objective, but you can bet your bottom dollar that something like that did go on, I would think. And you feel and you get involved in your men and the hunters. Okay, that is it's set in a historical period during Second World War when, for instance, the hunters were having a great time of it. But and again, the patrols you go on aren't set historical patrols. They are random, but they did go on those sort of patrols. And you're just trying to sink what you can. What are you laughing at, Tony? Sink what you can and then
Steeler fan.
survive. But yeah, but that's the beauty of the games, isn't it? Everybody has a different outlook on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
That makes it fun.
Yeah, I see. Thank you, Todd. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, just seen it.
So I would have to say that I'm kind of with you, Jeff, because I am, and I've got to get back to it. Me and a buddy have been playing 3 days at Gettysburg, the GBACW, and I'm playing the Union. And I sent my Bufords farther out. That would probably be east, I think. It's all weird. Or farther out west to meet them than where they traditionally did. And right now I'm kind of suffering from that. So like he's
caused havoc, didn't it, though? It probably caused a Confederacy havoc.
And honestly, so he's got part of Culp's Hill. It's Culp's Hill, I think. So I'm screwed there. But he can't go anywhere else because I have it surrounded. So if he tries to come down from Culp's Hill, I got it surrounded. So he's just going to get obliterated. I'm far enough away from his cannons that he can't hit me. But I got to watch out. It's like, so instead of like a fish hook, like Gettysburg's known for, I've got like a point. so it's kind of like this.
You got an apex. Yeah. So, okay. And it's funny because I didn't know this till recently as much as I go to Gettysburg. Buford on the first day lost 127 men. Okay. Have you ever played a Gettysburg game at a low, very tight level where you didn't walk out of there without losing 1,000 to 1,200 of those horsemen because you needed to use them? You got to. He has to be part. If you're playing it now, I just got through playing the whole first day not too long. And Todd, that's one of those games where I just had to take it down because I needed to do something else because it needs to sit up for about 6 months. But every time I play one of those, how I'm in awe when I read about what little troops he lost in that fight on the first day because I damn sure can't do it.
Yeah, I lost quite a few as well. Now the one thing is that I've got a ton more troops coming on second day. I mean, just getting the first day done, me and my butt, I swear it was 30 plus hours getting through the first day of GBACW. And like we'd play like a Friday night for a couple hours because he lives in California and we play on Vassal. So that's where Vassal's really nice. And we need to get back to it because we're like at the nighttime. It's been about a year since we've played and we really got to get back to it. But I know the rules a lot better now. So that's the other thing I was still learning with the first day. And if you're learning the rules for GBACW and you're playing 3 days at Gettysburg, you better be the Union because you can recover from it because you have so much coming in on day 2 that you can recover from any mistakes that you made from day 1. And that's what I'm getting to that point. So, yeah.
Steele, I'm with you, brother.
And
Yeah,
sorry,
I think. Sorry, Ruff.
I was just going to say, sorry, I blame Todd for that acerbic comment. It was Steeler fan mentioning Rommel again. Sorry.
So you're telling me that Rommel didn't shoot himself because of the failure on D-Day? He shot himself because of the way you all played him in the desert?
No, no.
Yes,
It was
that's
the way
exactly.
we played Europe. We got stopped. Yeah, that's how we rewrote history. We didn't get to. Well, they didn't. He didn't get to Paris, but I mean, we didn't invade Europe very
He tried
well.
to invade France and literally made it like 2 feet in, and then said, "No, this is a bad idea," and stepped back out.
We got repulsed, didn't we, Tony?
Yep.
But those games, I swear, those games are set up for failure.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and you got to get over that little hump, and then from there on, it's smooth sailing. Because same thing with Field Commander Napoleon, man. That first scenario, 1796 scenario, it's a beast, man. I'm telling you, it's a beast.
But that's if I won every game I played, it would be a bit boring. So and some of the going back to Panzer Grenadier, what we talked about off air, in the Eastern Front box, there's that big thick book, as you know, Jester, of all the scenarios, huge amount, and people are moaning and say, oh, they're all unbalanced and all that, but they may well have been in real life unbalanced. And then the challenge is to try and upturn that and see if you can win when you shouldn't be allowed to win, and that's the achievement, I think.
What's this Panzer Grenadier? What is this? Am I missed this?
Platoon level tactical. It's been out since the 90s. And
Yeah, Panzer Grenadier
stuff. If you like,
Avalanche Press.
Okay.
And it's a World War II tactical platoon level game.
They do World War I and modern as well. They've got a few
recently,
of those.
Yes, they recently expanded. Yes. So I think for me personally, I can't do it like Ruff, and I can't do it like Tony, and I can't do it like Jeff. And that's why, for me, wargaming just doesn't have as much story involvement. Now, with all that said, you can tell if you watched my Laconia incident video, right? Because I'm all about the story. So at the end of the video, I basically tell you guys that I'm into playing this recreation on the U-boat simulation, but I don't even care if I win anymore, because I've already come across the story that motivated me to actually play the game and be involved in the game. So for me, that was the coolest part about the U-boat experience, that we all are co-op challenge that we got going on. It doesn't have anything to do with how, if I beat Tony or not, or what ships I sink or anything like that. That's all out. It's the story that was involved behind it.
And that's the problem now. Every time I play that game, I'm going to be thinking of your video and of the story.
Hey, David, that should be a Sun Tzu statement, The Art of War. I remember learning that in some of the military academies. Pull up his "It's a Commander's Job" text.
It's commander's job to make it unbalanced.
And that's anybody's been in the military or any kind of leadership or combat position, that's a very, very accurate statement.
So it's up to you to not make it unbalanced, is to give yourself a fighting chance.
Change the environment. Yeah.
And that's what when they say, "Oh, this scenario is unbalanced," well, let's see, let's have a go. Let's change a few things. Let's see if we can, okay, you've still got random events like dice throwing, which me and Tony, as you know, aren't very good at. So yeah.
Right, so you're telling me that, okay, so Jester, all right, okay. If let's go strictly to a hex type war game, okay?
Okay.
You're playing a game and you know the historical background. You know the thing from when the battle started in the morning till it ended at night, and you know exactly how the outcome was, and you've read 5 million books on that particular battle, and every one of those books you've read, it's the same mistake that everybody repeats in every book you read. You going to tell me that you don't want the opportunity to change that mistake and change the outcome of that battle?
No, I have no desire to change history at all.
Okay.
No desire. So if we'll take Stalingrad for whatever reason, right? So if the Germans are pushing into Stalingrad, right, I would do the same thing. And even if they would be like, oh, let's pull back and keep our troops on the outskirts and then bomb the city some more or whatever, I would rather just follow what happened in real life. Follow what happened so I can relive the moment that happened. Right or wrong, that's the way I play it.
I get it. I get your point.
I get it. Yeah.
We weren't there. That's a good way to visualize what, well, you all have been there. I'm a little young.
Well, I mean, you see the Germans pushing into Stalingrad and they all start getting wiped off the map and you're like, wow. For me, that's.
But I've seen you play. Now, Jester, I watched you play the Stalingrad old school tactical.
Uh-huh.
And you were making up the story as you went. Not because obviously when you get down to a tactical level, you're not going to have the level of detail like you do with an army. But you were definitely creating the story as you went. And I could tell you were enjoying that. You were enjoying, okay, well, this guy, he's like, okay, this guy, just the way your tacticals were going. I totally think you were doing that. And that's why I think you enjoy that system because of that. Am I wrong about that?
If I didn't do that, it would bore me, to be honest.
Well, I mean, that's basically what we're doing, but with a larger. Like I like tactical.
And I'm not saying you guys are doing anything wrong. Trust me.
No, I'm not
everyone
saying.
Does it. Everyone envisions what they want to envision. That's why, for me, if I had a choice, I probably would not play war games as much and play other games because other games out there give you more of a story element. You play Arkham Horror, you play Eldritch Horror, or you play, any of the legendary games or whatever, and you're building things and you're making things happen and your characters change or you're getting new cards in or you're getting this. That's, for me, part of the story. For war games,
is that why you like?
Oh, like, hey, look, I got a new unit. Yay, it's a new unit. For me, that's for me.
Is that why you like the coin games? You seem to really enjoy doing
the coin games have, every turn it's got that historic card on there. So you get to relive part of what's going on. Why was this important? I didn't know anything about this. You flip up a card and you have like a little excerpt, in the back of the rule book. Yep. You can look it up. You can read and say, oh, this is what happened. Oh, okay. And that's what makes it fun for me. Not moving the pieces around the board and doing all the attacks and everything. It's learning about all these events that had happened.
And for me, yes. I mean, if I could get into coin games, that's, picking up a bit of history when you pick a card up and go, oh, is that why that happened? Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh,
didn't Nathan, he's the wise guy, right? Nathan?
Yeah.
Didn't he do, I want to say he's got his Vassal videos up. Didn't he do using 3 Days of Gettysburg, the complete walkthrough of how how it actually went? Using the counters on the map. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he did something. I don't know if he played it or if he was doing it that way. But he's the one that keeps wanting me to get into CSS.
I've got to try it as well. Yeah.
I got Montelimar on its way if it ever gets here. I want to try it.
What's the one mapper one? That's the one I want to get because of my blooming table. There's a
I think Saipan. I think it's Saipan or Tinian.
Tinian, that's the one. Yeah, that's like the sort of what's the call advancement or involvement of the GTS system because Adam Starkweather went over to Compass and tweaked with the GTS system and came up with the CSS.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the finalization before I really get into it. There's just I've heard too many.
It seems like it's still being tweaked.
Yeah, he sends the games out to be play tested by people instead of it sells his play tests and then tweaks the rules.
Big Board was supposed to be on last week and he couldn't make it because of technical difficulties. So we're going to try to reschedule him in another time.
But I'm here. I'm just as pretty.
Less hair.
Less hair. He fits in the group a little better.
I can shave my mustache off and get that Kev look going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's got the chin strap, hasn't he? You used to have the chin strap. Very cool looking, yeah.
It's Steel. Is that why you like? So your comment: a lot of war gamers, games are sandboxes, which is the same designers. Is that why you like the Next War series so much? I know you like that series a lot. I do too. So I'm not saying that. Is it because there's really not a history to it, and it's kind of an open sandbox to it? So just
I've been reading. I've started reading the rules.
Yeah, and they're not too bad. They're really not.
Mind you, Mo did say, I thought, oh no, he's done it. Everybody's doing unboxings again of it because everybody's receiving it. But he said, and he's much more knowledgeable than I am. He said the standard games are great. You can solo those, but there might be a little bit of a problem with the advanced game because there's so much going on. Have you played the advanced game solo, Tony?
Solo, no, but I've seen plenty of people do it. Kev's done it. It's not.
Well, okay, right. And there's one guy whose name I can't remember on YouTube who's doing the whole blooming lot. All the Korea and Vietnam.
Oh, yeah. You do.
He's got like a football pitch. He's put the maps on, and you know, and you think, you're bonkers, mate.
Oh, let me translate that. Hold on, Ralph. Let me translate that. A football pitch is a soccer field for you Americans. There you go. I wanted to make sure we clarify that.
It could be an American football pitch or a cricket pitch.
They don't know what cricket is either.
Well, all right.
And a pitch is what you do with a baseball. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nancy, now you got me. Oh, you do know that, and I'll tell you this, that with Mitch, he was actually at the Marine War College, and they used the Next War, the three of them, the Poland, Korea, and India, Pakistan, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those, or it was either India, Pakistan, or Taiwan. They actually used them in simulations, war game simulations. So they had an overall commander that would, and they used a lot of the rules. And here's what he came back with. The feedback he came back was, this was exactly how it works.
Yeah, but that's the sort of game I don't know if there'll be, for me, much narrative because you're
I think there's even more narrative, especially with this. It's so big. It is big.
No.
Yeah,
but I'll find out. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. The advanced game, there is a little bit that makes it hard. A lot of the air war is where the solo part gets a little bit harder. But
not impossible.
Not impossible, no.
Hey, Clay, I recognize that TSWW acronym. What is that? What's that?
Second World War. It's the Second World War series. It's huge.
Well, I mean, I think game designers are designing to do something with their game, and if you go off board and start doing your own thing, they don't have rules for it. They don't have, things can be unbalanced and, et cetera, et cetera. You can run into problems where, I'm going to take this force and I'm going to flank them out to the left. Well, off to the left was something else, and they don't have, maybe mountains over there. They don't have the rules for the mountains because they weren't planning on having anyone go over there. And then all of a sudden you have broken their design by moving things out there. So all of a sudden it's unbalanced again. I'm just throwing ideas out because
that's poor development.
There's a lot of sandbox out there.
Wouldn't developers think some idiot's going to go and try and go over them mountains? So I better put some rules in.
That's why getting playtesters that don't sometimes know the history is a good thing, because it shows those weaknesses. If you get too many people playing it as historically, then as soon as somebody decides to be ahistorical, it's going to throw the game out. And to me, that's poor design and poor development.
Well, I'm a jester like you. I mean, I want to know what made this happen back in 1815, or what made this unit fail in 1861. I want to know that, but and a lot of times I find it fun that when I'm playing a game and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I'm changing the course of this fight, and then it ends up ending just like the fight ended up anyhow. And to me, that's that's extremely interesting, and I don't mind seeing that. But I just, like I said, like the opportunity to, can I change this? And then you got to ask her, well, hell, is my poor dice rolling is going to screw all that up anyhow? So.
Yeah. Well, and also, even with unbalanced scenarios, you can set up victory conditions. Still get historically, but you can set up victory conditions for the loser. Maybe they don't lose as much, but still win the game. So, and I think CSS was that way, the Tinian that Nathan was saying, that they needed to hold back. Like, obviously, the whole All-Atinian gets taken over. Obviously, you really can't change it. There's just not enough Japanese troops to do that. But can you make it a tougher price for the Americans to take it? So even unbalanced scenarios, if you have the right victory conditions, you can war game any battle, but maybe you can create victory conditions that would reflect, to give the unbalanced player, the player that has the biggest deficit, a chance to win the game, even though they're going to lose the battle. You really can't change history that much. There's a reason why these battles went the way they did, is generally because they have more manpower. And as going back to the comment that it's the commander's job to make it unbalanced, commanders won't go into a battle if they know they have exactly the same number of troops and equipment as another game, as the other side. It's just stupidity. It's suicide, actually, to do that. So actually finding a battle that is actually balanced in history, it's almost impossible. Now, could some of the unbalanced be altered by the type of troops and units that they have? Yes. So, and I'm thinking the ancients, when you're talking about Rome versus the barbarians, where maybe the barbarians have more troops, but they're not as well trained. They don't work well together because they're different tribes. So some of that, even though the people are unbalanced, the technology or the cohesiveness actually changes that. So even though battles are unbalanced, does not mean you can't game them. You just have to change the victory condition. It's not whether you win or lose the battle anymore. You got to be, okay, did I make them hurt? Did I make the person with the advantage hurt more? Did I make them take longer?
Exactly.
Did it take longer? So yeah. Exactly. And I think that's the way the DVG games. So Field Commander Napoleon, like you were playing, Jester. And if you looked on the turn track for the scenario, they have victory points for each turn. Same thing with Rommel. It shows that you get less points the longer you take, because historically it took less time. So in that way, it's going to be unbalanced. And I don't know what battle was ever balanced. I mean, even Gettysburg was highly unbalanced by the Union, but the Confederates sure did put a hurt on the Union as well. Now the Union put a bigger hurt because of stupidity of Pickett's charge. And to kind of lead into that, the Civil War by GMT, it's supposed to go all 4 years. I've rarely seen a game go past 2 years, game turn wise, because we're not. I don't know. I don't want to say we're not as stupid, but unfortunately, we know the history and we know the weakness of where to go. We know what should have been done compared to what was done, because you don't have the political. You don't have the political wrangling that was going on during that time period. Because the first 2-3 years until Grant got in charge, it was all political of who was in charge, and it wasn't the best general that was in charge. It was who was politically favored, and I think you guys would agree with me on that one, except for Rolf, because he doesn't know anything about American.
What are you talking about?
Talking about the American Civil War. You don't know anything about that.
Oh, we had one before that. Yeah, we
didn't we have like 2 or 3 before that?
Yeah, been there, done that.
Right. Yeah, I think.
But no, I think what Tony was saying about, if it's unbalanced, and yeah, there've been a few comments about your Panzer Grenadier stuff not play tested enough and all unbalanced. Yeah, I agree. But then you rule it, so you say put a hurt on the guys that are going to win it anyway, and you can feel you've done something there. So yeah.
Yeah,
again,
but when you play a scenario in Panzer Grenadier and you know that scenario, and you're like, okay, well, look, I know that the Russians the numbers aren't there, but are the victory conditions for that scenario still set up so that there is the possibility the Russians could win? And it seems to me that any game like that, from squad leader on up to whatever's out there today, they all would provide. And I kind of like that about those level of games. And I think the only reason I don't play those is because I'm always warned by people, don't do it, because once you get into it, you'll never play anything else. You'll always be stuck trying to master those rules.
Well, Panzer Grenadiers, it's not ASL.
No.
Panzer Grenadier is like 20 pages of rules.
Well, it's about
30. It's not a 3-ring binder full. Let's put it that way.
It's a 30 odd page rule book.
Yeah.
But it's quite large font, the new 4th edition rules. And it's the same with Lock and Load Tactical and Nations of War, which I both love as well. They're not ASL, but there's enough in there. And what I like about Panzer Grenadier is some say it's closer to what happens, because instead of just rushing in and overrunning people, you're chipping away at units all the time, trying to get them is it disorganized, or what's the word?
Yeah, demoralized.
And so then you can rush in and assault them. But it takes an age. They're very difficult to video because some of the scenarios are like 30, 40 turns. And because you need that amount of time to sort of get in and chip, use your artillery, chip away, creep up, use cover, and all that. I like it. I like it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I know that. But tactical games, yeah. Whereas Nations at War is more of a dice fest, and that's great fun if that's all you want to do. There's no combat result tables. Everything you need is on the counter, and you just chuck dice and go, right, I'm going to blast you with my tanks here and see what happens. And yeah, I'm going to assault and all that sort of thing. So the different levels of tactical stuff I love. I love it. I love it all. Nations
I think
sorry.
For me, again, personally, everyone does their own thing. But for me, when I play, whether it's a scenario, whether it's a campaign or whatever, of course, I'm trying to get the victory condition. But at the end of it, I just look at how I did, and I either think, oh, I did pretty good, or I didn't do very good, or I could have done this better and all this. And I kind of just, and that's why I like the Panzer Grenadier system, is because, they have specific, victory conditions. But like Ruff said, some of the scenarios are imbalanced. So I just take everything as a whole and I say, oh, well, you know what? I did pretty good compared to what I thought I was going to do.
I held them back for longer than I
held them back for longer than I thought I was going to be able to, or I took more objectives than I thought I wasn't even going to be able to.
If you're playing solo, the victory conditions are a byproduct, just kind of give you an objective. But so if you're playing solo, Jester, that's exactly how I look at it. Okay, well, how did I do with this? Did I change it? Did I fix things? Yeah. So.
But then when you play these sort of games, it's not, oh, I remember that game because I won all the victory conditions. You remember that game because my back was to the wall, and I threw this and I punched them out the way. I ultimately lost it, but then what a great that feeling when you push back a bigger force, it stays with you. That's the thing you remember about that particular game, not whether or not you won or lost or blah, blah, blah. It's certain bits of games you remember. And that's what I love about this, gaming, wargaming, whatever you want to call it.
The Essex the MMP Civil War Brigade series, and I think the Napoleon Brigade series. I've played a couple of those. I played the Antietam and the Gettysburg one, and I'd have to say that of all the games I've played, the fact that you write orders for your commands. And they have to stick to those orders until the successful order they've accepted a new order, or they've been given a new order, and they even account for that commander that's receiving that order saying, no, this is bullshit, or no, I'm not going to do this, or it doesn't get to them. And I know when playing Antietam, having 2 brigades that were just driving on an objective, they were driving on a Confederate unit, and that Confederate unit got a successful orders change to move somewhere else, and that Union unit had nothing, and they reached their objective without even firing a shot, but there was no gain from it, and then they had to wait to receive new. I love that, because that just, you talk about, forget the dice roll, fog of war with that right there, not being able to, you got to wonder if that says, does that determine, or does that present the possibility of a commander's indecisiveness to not be able to change on the fly and do something? And I found that system, now it's tedious, but I found that system gives me more realism than any other games I play. I play a lot of stuff that you all do. And now that I'm listening to you all, I may have to, this damn Panzer Grenadier thing, y'all have got me intrigued now with this. So,
well, if you want, I've got a video out on it. I make a lot of mistakes, but there's a video out on it.
What else is new?
It might not be your thing.
That's right. I just played 3 turns of Operation Typhoon where the Germans weren't supposed to have any supply, and I gave them full supply. So,
Oops. Like, I'm doing really good here. This is really good. This game is so easy. Oh shit.
Yeah, we all do it.
But I'm not starting over. Damn it! I hear my buddies talking about, we reset. I can't do that. I don't give a shit if I've move 2 units. I can't reset a game once I've started playing. I just can't do it.
You don't do you replay a game, a scenario, or do you, once you're done with it, you got to move on to a different scenario? Or
now I'm done. Now I may, which now I got a question I've been thinking about. But I'll play like a lot of the great campaigns of the American Civil War. Like I think I played 2 or 3 of the scenarios in the Stonewall in the Valley, or the Stonewall Jackson's Way. But now I'm glad I got a question. See if somebody can answer this one for me, because I know I have computer games that do it. Is there a board game out there where it's worked up through scenarios, but it's like an entire campaign, where as you execute the first scenario in this campaign, that it changes the direction of the campaign? Is there a board game like that?
I think World at War 85, the expansion, the Drive on Gießen, you can set it up as a campaign game, and depending on how the battle goes, it moves on to the next. The next one is a little different. That's the only one I can think of. Yeah, offhand.
I play a lot of, and I don't video it, but Gary Grigsby's War in the East. I've watched this guy. There's a guy, I can't think who it is, but I've watched his time-lapse video of how he wins that as the Germans. And he's just, all his video shows is how the front line changes and where his units are. And you don't know how many times I've restarted that game trying to figure out, how did he do this? How did I get, because I can just drive the daylights out of the Russians all the way up to the gates of Moscow, and then shit starts falling apart, and it just ends up like it did historically.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's the only one that I can think of right offhand right now. But I do know a lot of campaign games. There are a lot of campaign games out there that do that. There are. So I'm an ATS guy, and I know they've actually set up campaign rules where, depending on how your battle goes, you actually get so much. You either get more reinforcements or less reinforcements or something like that before you go on. And ASL, I know, has the same, they kind of came up with the same thing. They have the campaigns where it moves on. As it moves on, it kind of changes. You don't get what you start out with if you were to just play that scenario by itself.
And I think Nations at War even do, at the back of the module book, there's a scenario, and depending on how you do, depends what you get for the next scenario.
In what direction you go, or?
No, they're set things, so you have to do that. But how well or bad you do will influence the next scenario in that campaign, be it supplies, be it reinforcements or whatever.
Right.
If
Yeah,
you-
that's about half of what that's
Yeah.
that's half of what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think wargame it's a little hard to do, or a lot of places don't do it. But like, you can find a lot of like regular board games that do it. It's just war games don't do it. You know, like
Why is that? Is it hard to do? I don't know. I'm not a developer, but
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
that
actually, it's-
monster
you know,
game.
if you're doing a
but
war
it's a-
game, that's going to include, you know, you're going to do this, and then you're going to branch off and do this scenario. That's a lot of maps. You know, you're talking a lot of maps. You're talking a lot of counters. Might just be anti-intuitive for people to do that because they're.
Well, there's certainly not a lack of maps and counters in the expansion to World at War 85.
That's for sure. The only thing I think of is relatively a new feature in war games within the past couple of years, the legacy games. That's what you're kind of talking about, Jeff, is the legacy games, where as you grow, as you move on to the next scenario. Gloomhaven, I think, is that way. You have Pandemic Legacy. So that's relatively a new mechanic in board games. Now, I don't know if you guys did the Choose Your Own Adventure books when you guys were younger. That was something, and that's kind of, I think, what you're looking at. Well, I have a choice. You know, it can go this way or that way, or in this case, if I win this battle, or this side wins the battle, you go this way, or if this side loses the battle, you go that way. Is that kind of what you're kind of
something that might change the direction that I've chose initially, you know, that might read, you know, like a prime example for me would be I attacked Poland with the Germans in 1939, but that goes even better than it did for them. Is there maybe there's some outcome that causes me to drive straight into Russia as opposed to going back to France? You know,
the only game
direction.
So the only game I can think of that would do that would be Total Krieg, Axis Empires.
Yeah.
Because you can things can change the way you do things. Like Spain could go on the Axis side or the Allied side or stay neutral. You know, it just depends on different things. There's certain cards that make certain things happen. I haven't played it, but I know Steele did, and I know a lot of people in my gaming group that I'm around, wargaming group, they love that because of that.
Yes,
they don't have it. They don't have the Senso isn't as much because there's not as much there, but definitely the Total Krieg, the European version of that.
There's a bit of that in Dicenso where the Brits don't come in, or they make a pact with somebody else, or Japanese do instead of that. So yeah, there's ways around it, but I'm not over experienced with the European version of it, so I wouldn't know. But yes, there is a bit of that.
Like I said, that whole mechanic is relatively new in board games, whereas in video games that's been around for, well, as far as I can remember. But to me, it's relatively new in board games because generally you play a board game from beginning to end and that's it. But the new legacy games out there have that where depending on how you do depends on which way you go on that legacy.
Well, I mean, you talk like Descent or something like that, right? So, I mean, that's been around for 10 or 15 years, but you're talking, you know, the box was as big as my table here because it had all the components and everything. If you're going to do the same thing with a war game, you're going to have all the different units for all the different areas. You're going to have maps for all the different areas. You're going to have rules for all the different areas. You know, and then you're going to have to play balance and test it, you know, and it's a undertaking to say the least.
Yeah, and we have designers that won't even bother doing the right thing on the first game anyways.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if you want to play like a campaign game, then you're going to have to look at like outside type stuff. I think, does Warfighter have that? Rough?
Warfighter does have campaigns where what happens you have an object. It sort of moves through. You have to do this, then do that. But what happens in the game before influences how successful you might or might not be in the second bit, because you carry on from where you were. You don't restock your men. You keep the same men, and if somebody was killed, that's tough. You're one down, or you might get a replacement, or you might not. So yeah, there's that, but it's still sort of pretty linear, because you have to. There isn't, you can go off here now because you did this, or you can go this way.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly, yeah.
I think the world, like I said, the World of War 85 has that. If I remember right.
It does, because if you're not successful in pushing that way, you might want to try that flank and see what happens there. So you set up a game for that. And I'm not sure how that works, because I haven't actually looked at it. I've got it, but I haven't actually looked at it. Yeah. Whether or not you have to do it randomly, or to set up what you decided to do. But yeah, that looks cool.
I think my big problem with getting games on the table is I want to record them all, and I just don't have time. And if sometimes I'll get 15 minutes to play a game, to play a turn or a part of a turn, but it's I can't record that 15 minutes. So I think I need to start playing them and get really good at them, and then I can record them. Do a different scenario to record, because I really want to play World of War 85, but I want to record it at the same time, because I think it keeps, I don't know about you, Ralph, but it keeps me on me doing the Rock of the Marne. So what's interesting is you were saying that the longer you go with a game, you have a larger fall off. I'm not seeing that with Rock of the Marne right now.
It must be me then.
No. All my other long ones have been like that. But the Rock of the Marne, I seem to be getting around 60 views an episode. Even through 5.
It's World War I. Maybe because of that. It's not World War II. It's not, it's something different, maybe. Or you're just better at it than me, you bugger.
So, you know how much I love Lock and Load. You know how much I love the Lock and Load system. You know how much I love Nations at War. You know how much interest I have at World of War 85?
None.
0.
If
interest to that.
If aren't your thing, then they're not your thing. For me, it's It's
because why is it? Because it's not historic. It's not something that really happened. I have no desire to play something unless it's a fantasy game, because obviously that didn't really happen. But that we know of, right? So for World War 85 or something like that, I just don't have any desire to play that, because it's just, I'm not reliving history. I'm moving these units that they're made up scenarios, they're made up units, or made up.
Yeah. Well, they're based on real units and what would have happened possibly if they decided to make the Cold War go hot. But yeah, I can see what you're saying, and I completely understand. For me, it's just me bouncing back to the 80s, and I remember that, and the sort of ooh and all that sort of thing. I like.
Obviously, over there across the pond, you didn't have Rambo, so you don't know what happened, right? So Rambo goes in, he blows up all of the USSR planes and helicopters, and then he walks out, and there you go.
Yeah. What's your point? Sorry, I must have missed your point.
So the scenario's over. I mean, you just watch Rambo. He comes in, he kicks everybody's ass, and then he leaves.
Well,
I mean, don't you have? I mean, does England have like a Rambo? Who's your guy over there in Rambo? Is he called like
James
Oliver
Bond?
Cromwell?
He's called James Bond.
Oliver Cromwell.
Oh, James Bond. Now there's a good one.
Oliver Cromwell. What a rotter he was. God dear. Dear oh Lord. That's why we're having so many problems, It's all down to him.
When I play an Eldritch Horror Lock and Load mashup, if I know it's a fantasy game and it's based around fantasy, I would probably do that.
Jeff thinks he's come to the wrong channel now. Look.
thought I was getting a European
Do we have to
education
time
here.
out our first guest ever? I mean, seriously? Wow. We have to put our guest in timeout, and that's pretty bad. That's really bad.
Oh, you have upset him. He hasn't done that before, Jeff.
I live by myself. I'm in a timeout.
Oh, Mr. Bean, that's your hero.
He is a hero, actually. If you watch the stuff, he is a hero.
That's funny. Swordsman, whatever you said, he agrees with you.
I can't remember 1 minute to the next what I say. Mad dog. Mad
Goes
dog.
in one ear, out the other. Cthulhu is real. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, only if you're Catholic, I think.
Oh, so
Well,
yeah.
burn him,
Huh?
which is why we burn him every 5th of November. Guy Fawkes Night. You didn't know about this? Looks like
No.
you don't know about this.
I don't know what you do over there. I'm missing out, I guess.
This is where we celebrate the execution of Guy Fawkes, the guy that tried to blow up Parliament.
You celebrate the execution of a guy who tried to blow up Parliament.
Because basically we are a Protestant country because of Henry VIII, who got rid of Catholicism in the 16th century, and Guy Fawkes was a Catholic who tried to blow up the Protestant government with the king in it at the time. And because he was discovered, he got executed. And we celebrate that fact by burning effigies of him on November the 5th and letting off lots of fireworks. I think it's lost on most people in this country now why we do have a Guy Fawkes Night, or Fireworks Night as it's now called. But yeah, there we go. There we are.
Wow.
Us Brits are mad.
Was this guy French, by the way?
No, I think he was Spanish. Italian, Guido.
I thought maybe it was France, because you just can't get over France, can you? Jesus.
Well, we've been at war with them the most, I think, since time began. The gunpowder plot, yes. Yeah, that's the one. Penny for the guy. My God, yes. I used to do that. Penny for the guy. Yeah. Yeah. V for Vendetta. See? Great film.
Oh, he's Irish.
Oh, so yes. Talking Oliver Cromwell, aren't you? Yes. Got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, let me know how that works out.
It's still working out.
Right.
Oliver Cromwell. God love him. Yeah.
I only said that because I watched a movie with him in it the other day. I think Richard Harris played him.
Oh yes. Great film. Yeah, but yeah, it's what he did after that, which wasn't too great. Anyway, and with the Scots, yeah, it's gone quiet.
Yeah. Well, Tony must not be talking, so
Thought I'd gone deaf.
obviously.
So Jeff, at the moment, yeah, you
Sir.
said that it's American Civil War, and I've said I because maybe I'm English, I can't get into it, or Second World War stuff. If you look back over the years, and you've been playing these a few years, what game is sticking in your mind that that's your all-time favorite?
It would have to be Terrible Swift Sword. I mean, that's where my first interesting teeth cutting in a game was Terrible Swift Sword. And and I've always had 2 copies of it ever since I got my first one. I got a second one, found it for free in a box somewhere in a knick-knack store, and unpunched. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But I've kept that forever, and along with Lockdown Ryan from SPI. But Terrible Swift Sword, if I don't play for a while and I go in, and even probably with, I guess I've got a little over 200 games right now on my shelves. If I were to stop playing for a year and then go back in there to pull a game off the shelf and play, I guarantee it'd be Terrible Swift Sword.
So if you could take only one game to a desert island, it would be that game.
Yeah, no doubt.
Terrible Swift Sword, is that? I know it's the name of the game, isn't it? But you know, excuse my ignorance, because I see you guys as like the Wall Street Journal of wargaming vloggers, and I'm Newsweek, you know, whatever it's called, tabloid. But don't they use that? Wasn't that is a system in that's been used in other games?
Yeah, all of the great battles have developed from that.
Right.
I mean, and they've just gotten more and more deeper and deeper and deeper. It's
Chrome.
is there? I don't know if there's a game by somebody else. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, I would imagine that Herman and Simonich and Essig and all them, because they've all written so, and I know there's a lot more out there. To watch the transition of the rules, but to also watch with Richard Berg, where okay, so he goes from SPI to simulations design, and to see how you go from a Terrible Swift Sword system, now all of a sudden you've got the TRT put into it, where you're rolling on a table to see, okay, I can make this unit move, or I can make this regiment shoot, or I can make this cannon limber up, and it just goes, and then to go to the next company, and then to the next, and to watch it end up with GMT. And I mean, if you're in the GBACW realm, on BGG, there's a couple of guys that when I post my videos there, I know one of them for sure is part of the Living Rules people for GMT, and I love posting those videos because it's a deep game. If you play any game that has a seriously thick rule book, you're never going to get it all right. And I got guys over there. I literally say, hey, please watch this. Tell me where it is that I'm making a mistake at. And then I'm starting to find, man, they're all over the world that get into this system. And I get people pointing out, hey, you did that well, but you might need to make an adjust. And just to watch that development from what I remember from Terrible Swift Sword into what it has become now, it amazes me. And I like to say, I'm sure there's other series out there that you guys probably play that I don't know that much about that does the same thing.
Yeah, I think that, well, GBOH, I think, is one of those that started and it's been developed and added on and bits and pieces. But having looked at the contents of the games in that series, it might, because you get a lot for your money, don't you?
Death Valley was over the top.
Yeah, and that appeals to me. I do like getting a lot for my money. So never say never. I might well go for it because I love the look of the components, the maps, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I might indulge one day.
So, Rob,
yeah.
Is there a game that's made over here in the United States that you cannot get your hands on that you would like to have?
I don't think so. We can get most things over here, but it's at a premium, of course, because they've got Are you drinking out of a jar?
I live in West Virginia. Be glad I ain't moonshine.
Good grief, man.
He's in West Virginia.
Oh, right. So it's all, yeah, right. Okay. You can get most things over here because, but it's at a premium, as I say, because they've got to ship it over and all that. Some of the smaller companies are a bit more difficult to get, but no, I don't think so. I think
so
we're okay.
West Virginia over here is like Scotland for you guys. Because what are you guys playing over the Thanksgiving holiday?
What's that?
It's where we celebrate our arrival to the new world, where we got away from our oppressed masters and started anew.
Well, I don't think you were oppressed. You just wanted to say what your taxes were for. Anyway, but
our
yeah,
oppressed masters who are taxing us without our representation.
So it's to do with us.
What are you playing?
When's Thanksgiving?
Thursday.
Every day rough as long as you're in this world.
Thursday.
Was that an insult?
No, that was a compliment.
You guys should really celebrate Thanksgiving over there, where you let us be free men and not slaves to the queen.
Didn't we throw them out of this world so that we could have Thanksgiving?
We did.
That was the whole point of the Revolutionary War, was so you could have a blooming holiday, wasn't it? Isn't it? And you have turkey, don't you? Tony can't hear you. Oh, sorry, is he muted? Can't hear you. No, that's just as well, actually. But don't you? Don't
I mean, that's great. We haven't heard a word from him for like 5 minutes, and I didn't mute him, so I don't know what's going on. No.
But so you have turkey at Thanksgiving.
We do have turkey at Thanksgiving.
What do you eat at Christmas?
Ham and turkey.
Or ham.
Yeah, well, we do that, but you have turkey again. Don't you get sick of it?
No. Turkey's great. Love turkey.
Mad Dog's got it right. We just avoided the most excellent part of what we eat.
All excuse for pumpkin pie.
Now, pumpkin pie, I have had that, yes, and that's not bad.
Yeah, but you could probably mix it with haggis and some other stuff.
Wow.
You're talking over each other. If you're going to moan at me, have a go at me. Do it one at a time, please.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Go on.
I said, you probably mix the pumpkin with haggis and stuff there, don't you?
Oh, haggis. I do like haggis. Oh, I do. Have you ever had haggis?
No, sir. It scares me just to think of what's in it.
Neeps and haggis. Oh, neeps, tatties, and haggis. Oh, lovely.
Well, hey, look, when Americans say they're meat and potatoes, that means hamburger and French fries.
Yeah, I can quite believe that. The thing is, with haggis, it's everything.
Do you want to know how the British have this hang up with the French? They don't call them French fries because that would be using the French term. So they have to call them, what do they call them? Chips over there or something?
Yeah,
We call them
it's
French.
chips.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're back.
Well, yeah,
Welcome
something
back.
went funky on my computer. I don't know. I had to fix it. No, it's called chips because it's fish and chips. And what we call chips, they call crisps over there.
Easy, innit? Easy.
They can't use that word French. They have this
I'm
hang
kind
up.
of an Anglophile. I'll admit it.
Do you know what the French call? You know, every nation's got a sort of nickname. Some are better than others. Yeah. You know what the French?
We're going to get that on the table just for you, Ruff. Did you watch my unboxing? Because I mentioned you twice on this.
Yeah, nobody's answered that question yet.
No, I haven't, because you go on at about 3 o'clock in the blooming morning, and then I forget to watch them because we have real time over here. What are you doing up at 3 o'clock in the morning doing videos?
Yeah, really? What's up with that?
He's talking to you, Jester.
All I was saying was that the French have a nickname for us Brits.
What's
They
that?
call us roast beef.
The French call you roast beef.
Yeah, roast beef. Yeah,
Why?
because that's supposedly all we eat.
Well, you call the French frogs, anyways. So
Because what did you having for dinner tonight?
Roast beef. Yorkshire puddings, roast potatoes.
What the hell is Yorkshire pudding?
Oh,
sausage.
grief. Toad in the hole? No.
It's like blood pudding too.
Black pudding.
Sausage.
There you're talking. Black pudding. That's flavored with blood, pig's blood. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get more of Rock of the Marn done. I actually wouldn't mind getting it done this week, since we need to get we kind of went. But I want to get Rock of the Marn done this week, actually. I'm also supposed to meet up with Kev, and we're supposed to play a good 2 turns of DAC, too. Hopefully Wednesday during the day, since I have no classes. I was about to say I have no class, but I was afraid to say that out loud because I know somebody would make a comment.
So
Yeah.
Stop trying to make it hard work, Tony. You teach, I tutor. You've got a big holiday coming up. Just look at it like that, yeah?
Yep.
Over Christmas, yeah. I'll be playing from Thursday. I'm playing Men of Iron, and if I can get that done in the next week or two, I've got a yearning to get Nations at War out again. I don't know why, but yeah. But Men of Iron, yeah. I don't know what I'm playing. I might just do the little Agincourt scenario, but that is so unbalanced. And they say, you know, that's because the longbowmen and all that sort of thing. Or I might try the Courtrai scenario with the Flemish and French. So we'll see how we go with that.
Jeff, what are you going to be doing over the holidays? Anything?
My intention is to set up, well, I haven't decided which one yet, but I'm going to set up a very large game on my very large table, and I'm going to play that thing all the way through the New Year's.
Wow. So you're talking monster game.
Yeah, I'm going to set something up. I just haven't, right now, it's probably going to be one of the big OCS ones. Might be War in Europe. I don't know. I might set up I can't get them all on that table, but something. I've got an itching to put another big one back on. I've got 2 single tables that I can play a 1 or 2 mapper on that I'll do. And, you know, my little dining room table sitting back, hell, it's got plexi going. My friends come over to eat, and they don't even take the plexi off the table. They just eat right on top of the plexi.
When you're saying that in your live stream, putting their drinks on it and their food.
So that's what I'm gonna do. Hey, I tried somebody tried to get me to play a Vassal. I can't do it. We probably the wrong game, but we tried to play a Vassal Great Battles of the American Civil War, and in the first option, yeah, pretty much where he moved into a range where I could fire cannons at him because of their movement. I confused him when I sent back my playthrough that I was shooting my cannons at your infantry that moved into within 3 hexes. And then we realized, oh my God, you'd have to flip the V-logs back after every 1 unit moves once you get into a combat range. So my first attempt at a Vassal with somebody else was an epic failure, and I'm probably not prone to ever do that again. So.
Don't. That game is not good by email. Playing on Vassal live, totally worth it, but that game is horrible by email because of that. Because you fire and then they can return fire. So that game's horrible at that. Any game that you have to do that where it's back and forth like that, you can't do that by email. It's not good. But like OCS is really good by email, but certain games just are horrible. But if you play it live, so if you're playing with the buddy live, that's actually really nice because it takes care of a lot of stuff for you. It keeps track. You don't have to have as many counters. I will admit that. I just hate it because I can't see the whole picture very easily. That's my biggest issue on that.
That's my problem. They're great. They're great to learn games with, or if you're playing, you know, with someone that played with Jester and that, they're great. But you can't see everything. And
yeah,
also,
that bothers me. Yeah.
I also like the tactile aspect of it. You know, that you're actually touching, moving counters, throwing dice. But I can see the benefits of it. So, you know, there'll be opportunities when, say, Tony says, okay, I'm going to whip your backside with SPQR or Nations at War, or I'll teach you this, or Jester goes, I'll teach you. So, yeah, they've got their uses. Yes, it does.
I like the solo play. I mean, I got buddies down the road here I'll go play with. Problem is, you set a game up, and rarely do we ever play just a little 2 or 3 hour game. Just because of what the interests are. Like, I'm not big into, I only have a couple of point-to-point and area type movement games. Never really, they weren't my thing. I do have a couple now, and the Napoleonic Wars was the one I played with them when I first met this group. And I enjoyed it. It was fun. Still not my style of game, but it was fun. And hell, they gave me my own copy of that game, and it's unfortunate because it'll probably sit on the shelf, and I'll probably never look at it again. But I like the solo play. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably a lot like everybody else. I go to work, I come home. Maybe I'm not physically exhausted, but my brain is smoked. And I find that's my, you know, when golf is in, I'm out on the golf course. But winter's here now, so I'm not on the golf course. I'm gonna be in my back room or on my computer. And I like to play solo because I think, hey, what bigger ultimate challenge is there than to beat yourself? or to counter move yourself. I mean,
it's hard to do. It's hard to do. It's hard to get those surprise moves in there against yourself, though. Oh my God, I never saw that coming. Holy crap! What was I thinking?
What do you think about pure solo games? Do you play?
Never played one.
Right, where there's a box or there's tables. You always play two-handed, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't mind it. You know, I play two-handed. I enjoy it. And yes, you have to sort of split.
Yeah, well, if I hit a point in a game where I'm like, okay, Tony, we were talking about the card thing, well, I mean, I'll supplement decision making with a dice roll. If I'm sitting there scratching my head saying, well, no, he would probably do this, or no, but I don't want him to do that. Odd he does, even he doesn't.
Yeah.
And and hell, even if you do counter move yourself, your dice rolls might stink anyhow, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, I mean, I don't. A lot of people can't do it. I understand, but yeah, there's no surprises, as you said, Jester. Oh, I never saw that coming. But yeah, there's ways around it.
I don't know how many times I've played solo and I realized, oh crap, I left that wide open. It's still, and I guess that's sometimes why I take a day or two between turns, is so when I get back to it, I'm like, well, shit, I didn't see that a day ago. So sometimes completing a turn, walking away, and waiting a day or so, coming back and then looking at it again, you're like, well, shit, I can do that, or I can do that. And I've actually caught myself as I'm moving one side's pieces, the other side, the mind, and I must be schizophrenic because I can think for two players at the same time. Oh, I got to counteract by doing this. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not on that turn. I got to stay. I'd catch myself. But there's so many times where I'm like, well, shit, that guy's left wide open. Why did I do that?
Tony, have I got to get this out again? Have I got to get the beeper out?
Yeah.
Jester, you did it last night. Jester, you did it last night playing that game you were playing, where you had an attack to some monsters or something like that, and you were like, oh, hell no.
Well,
for you guys that joined me, I appreciate you guys joining me, but you got to see, if you didn't watch the last 10 minutes of that, you have to go watch it.
Oh, I got to go back then because I had to go take care of the kid.
You have to go watch it. Well, I would say, go back to about 30 minutes because after as I was closing out of the episode, there was like a 10 or 15 minute where we talked about things. But yeah, go watch the end of that because you're not gonna believe. You're just not gonna believe what happened.
Okay,
did you fight the monsters or not?
I'm not going to spoil it for you. You have to just go watch it because if you know anything about Arkham Horror, the game is set up for you to think, oh yeah, we got a chance at this. We're doing okay. We're doing pretty good. We can do this. It keeps you teetering, and you keep wanting to go through the turns because you're like, yeah, we can do this. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, we got this. We can do this. That's what it's designed for you to do. And then all of a sudden, it's designed to rip your heart out and spit it down your throat.
Oh, like 3 marriages.
Jeff, you thought you would have learned something after the first 2, wouldn't you?
You'd have thought.
Yeah.
Well, Jester, I'll tell you, those games that you play, they are definitely not in my world at all, but something must be crawling at me because I'm watching you play them. So
they're fun. They are great to watch because it's a train wreck. You're watching a train wreck. If you're playing them, you're playing a train wreck. If you're watching it, you're watching a train wreck. Because what happens is you're going along really well, and then something on your plan goes absolutely ape. And it's so – I like those games too. I have both of them, and I have so much fun with them on that. And that's part of the reason why is because it is a train wreck.
Yeah. Well, when you all get an extra copy of one, send me one.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I figured it.
I'm not giving mine up. Hey, I know Jester would probably give you a 3rd edition Arkham Horror.
I do have one for sale. That's true.
Don't touch the 3rd
How
edition.
about a trade?
Don't touch the 3rd edition.
3rd edition.
I do
And
have one
so-
for sale.
So you gave a hint to a rant, Jester. I'm kind of curious what
I'm just going to go and get my popcorn. Hold on.
All right, go get your popcorn.
What do you, Doug? What do you?
So I got a bunch
You're
of
on the third
NFT
too,
games
what?
this week from our sale, right? We got the old days of Normandy, and we got the Mighty Endeavor. We got
Mighty Endeavor's great. I
Orders
have
of
that.
God. You know, we got a bunch of them, right? So I'm thinking, I'm going to learn how to play these. And we talked about this last week. What's the best way, or how do we learn how to play a game, right? For me, I go watch a video and then I set it up and then I try it out and then as I play in the game, I try to figure it out. Well, I went to a developer's. Well, I did a search in YouTube to see what videos were out there. There wasn't very many videos for some of these games, actually. So surprising. And I'm not going to say which one it was, but I found some videos, and I just so happened, I'm like, the person only had like 50 subscribers or something. And I was looking at the name because the videos weren't very good, right? And so I was looking at the name, and then I looked at the box, and I'm like, this is the designer's YouTube channel. So, and I literally couldn't understand half the words he was saying because he would like not talk into a microphone. He was like holding the camera, and he was moving it around and shaking, and there's nothing more than I can't see what the hell's going on when all the camera does is freaking move the whole time. Game developers, right? So like you don't see lawyers out there forest fighting. You don't see pilots that run a submarine. You don't find brain surgeons who are astronauts. The reason you don't do this, you don't see this, is because it's a different skill set. You have a skill set to do something, you don't have a skill set to do something else. For some reason, game designers think they have the skill set to do everything, and they don't. They have the skill set to create a game, and that takes a certain set of skills. But to actually create videos for your game and explain it in English to people is a different skill set. Would you not agree with me?
Depends on the person, doesn't it?
Most 99% of the people out there that are game designers should not be creating videos on how to play their game because they're awful. We all know, because we are YouTube creators, the effort and the time and the energy and the resources you need to do to create this stuff. You need a camera, you need a decent microphone, you got to have recording software, you need to have editing software, you need to have the proper lighting conditions, you need to, there's all these things that you have to be able to do this. Game designers, do not think you are YouTube content creators. There are two different skill sets. Try not to mix them up because all you're going to do is piss off the people that are trying to learn your stupid game.
I'll tell you, I have one exception to that.
Who?
Next War series. Mitch does a
Because
great
you're
job.
right,
Not
isn't it?
theirs.
He does a great job with it. Yeah,
That's
he does a
Mitchell.
great job with them.
But
I've
there's
watched them.
so many bad videos. You could
Yeah.
watch within the first 10 or 15 seconds, you can know this is some Yahoo, or you can say, no, this is an actual content creator. There's such a big difference when you watch a video. You can tell the quality and the content. You can tell the lighting. You can tell by the voice. You can tell whether or not they have a decent microphone just based on if they're wearing a headset do not create a video on how to produce your game because your quality will suck. If you're a game developer, develop the games. If you're a game manufacturer, you produce the games. Let the content creators create the videos for your game. Don't mess it up.
Well, as Maddy Dog said, Wardrobe said that's why Gimpy did the lock and load stuff because you could have created.
Said, you know what? We're really good at producing games. That's what we should focus in on. Smart. Some of these other game manufacturers are like, well, if you're the designer of the game, we're going to need videos. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. And they're forced the game designers to do that.
GMT does it pretty good.
I'd be creating videos. It's a different skill set. That's why you don't see doctors that are also U-boat captains. There's a different skill set. If you're good at something, great. Right? That's a great quality to have no matter what you're good at. But don't try to take that and combine it into something else. For example, how many times can we talk about a great sport athlete who then decided, you know what? Sport athlete and actor are the same thing. Let me go and make a movie. How many movies do we have with sports actors that are terrible? Shaquille O'Neal or Roddy Piper or
wait a minute. Roddy Piper was not an athlete.
He was an athlete.
Movie he was in.
He was a sports athlete. What are you talking about?
Did that bubblegum chewing movie? I don't know.
No, the one with the glasses where they see aliens.
Yeah.
Him and
that movie was just horrible, anyways. Like seriously.
Just because you have a certain skill doesn't mean you can translate that skill into other things. There's actors. You're an actor. If you're a sports person, you're a sports person. Very, very few people, and as Tony said, there's some exceptions. There's probably some people that are very good at multiple different things. If you're good at creating a design and you put the time and effort into creating quality videos, that's a plus because you have two skills that you can combine together, which is great. Most people can't put multiple skills together.
I concur to a certain point. The problem is, are the game designers made like actors when they make a movie? Part of their contract is to go around and promote it and do interviews and all that sort of thing. Are game designers made? I don't know if that's the right word to make these videos because
I don't think they're made. I really don't think they're made.
Part of the deal, maybe. I don't know.
But,
okay, here's the thing. Let's say the four of us created a game, but we're not YouTube creators. We're just game designers, right? Wouldn't it be to all of our advantage instead of creating a bunch of shitty videos out there? Where's your little beep beep? Wouldn't it be to our benefit and all of our customers' benefit to say, hey, let's go find somebody that we can send this game to that'll do videos on it. There are lots of pre-bought YouTubers out there that are war gamers, and they will be more than happy to take your free game and do video after video after video. So if the four of us created a game, it would be more advantageous for us to send our game to somebody that does it good than to try and create something ourselves.
Well, they've got to ask a YouTuber to do it, haven't they? Maybe, I don't know. But there's been a game, and I'm not going to say which one.
No, that's not the problem. I know of at least 30 YouTubers out there that their whole scam is they do videos for free if they get the game for free. You know who I'm talking about.
Firezaid.
So don't tell me that you can't send, if we're a game designer, we can't send our game out to people to make the game. There's
maybe they think
there's pre-bought people out there that would be more than willing to create your game for you.
Yeah, but I tell you what, there has been one game. What's he doing now? There's been one game that I was interested in, but watching the developer play the game made me want to read War and Peace.
Great book.
Upside Down.
Upside
And
down.
Put me off the
better.
game.
Yeah.
Put me off the game.
It puts people off the game. Absolutely. When I watched this developer's stuff, I was like, I was really interested in getting this game, and now I'm not so much interested anymore. And
It felt
I have like no desire to even get this game anymore.
When I was watching, and it's not the only one, I've seen a few, and I know what you're saying, and it feels like you've been made to do this, haven't you, mate? You've been made to do this, and you wish you were somewhere else. That's how I feel watching it. Some of them, yeah.
Some of them, I mean,
Most
I
of
don't know if
them.
they're main to do it or they just like, hey, we can make a video. Let's do it. It doesn't look that hard.
God.
I mean, if Jeff can do it, anyone can do it.
Todd's getting a bit lippy, isn't he?
I had nothing better to do
I
today.
don't know
This
what
is-
I did. They're saying Mad Dog said I blasphemy. What did I do? I
You were
don't even know
speaking
what
up
I
to
did.
Rowdy Piper.
I didn't
saying
have
he
a
wasn't an
problem.
athlete.
I said he wasn't an athlete. I meant he wasn't a sport athlete. He was an athlete.
You're going
Sorry.
down, Tony. I'm going to
He
have to
was-
kick,
he
I'm
is
going to
an
have to kick you out of the
athlete.
group because we're going
He
to
wasn't a
lose.
sport
we're gonna lose
athlete
subscribers
because
because of
WWE
you.
is entertainment, not sports.
We're going to lose
And I love
subscribers
going.
because of your attitude, Tony. You're going to have to change
Yeah, I
it.
know. Why don't you mute me and put me in timeout then?
I should. But yeah, I think if you're going to be designing a game, you know, if you're the game manufacturer or the game designer or whoever, you guys are in charge of making sure the videos that come out for your game are going to keep people interested in it, keep people wanting to buy it. I would say, you know, to get the pre-sales, to get all the money to come in for the game, right? You want to keep people interested. You don't want to produce shitty videos and have people turned off because you created these terrible videos.
What is the?
I have a question.
Hold on. Is the statistic something daft like 70% of sales are done through YouTube videos?
Yeah.
So yeah. You don't want to.
Who had the question? Jeff?
Me.
Sorry, Jeff.
Okay, so and this is a question out of innocence because I'm new to this online stuff here. My question would be well, first off, there are a lot of streamers and videoers and stuff out there that do stuff, and there's quite a bunch of them that are, from my perspective, you would call big names in this market.
Mhm.
But I never see them actually reviewing or actually playing a game. And then my question to this, and this is the innocent part of this because I want to understand how you get to that point. How did some of the big dogs that I see out there, and you could probably name 5 of them right off the top of your head, how did they get to where they are? What is it they do? Because to me, this is more interactive in appealing to me, this environment right here.
What amazes me is that there are some, and you know, I'm not having a go. It just to get my head round, somebody doing a 40-minute review of a game, and you haven't seen a playthrough. They do an unboxing, and then the next thing you see is a review where it looks like they're pushed, and they go, "Oh, let's have a," you know, and I can't. That's why I don't do reviews, because I think I said it at the end of the last video I did. I don't do reviews because you've got to know the game backwards to be able to review it and give an honest opinion. All I can do is play it and then see, do you like this? You know, is it for you? I can't understand that. I don't
games.
Huh?
It's a cult of the new. So if you look at it, it's like they have new games. They're constantly putting things out, and I mean, that's what it is. It's putting games out. It's what's new. That's how they do it. They don't actually do the playthroughs generally. They do the reviews and the open boxes. They probably play, and I'm not going to say this is 100% true because I don't know, but they probably play 1 or 2 turns of it and then say, okay, this is a good game or this is a bad game. I know the Players Aid gets a little gripe for not having bad games, but I've seen them actually. I saw an interview said they won't do a review if they get a bad game they don't like. If they get a game they don't like, they won't do a review. So yes. All their reviews are generally positive. I wish they would do the poor reviews because it would lead to validity of that channel. Honestly, it would really lead to a validity. If you have poor reviews, I think it leads to more of a validity of the channel. Or if you are more objective about it, saying what you did and didn't like about it. But I don't know. Jester's one of those ones where if he tells me he doesn't like a game, he's going to flat out say it. And I appreciate those people more than this is such a great game, or this is only, this is a great game. It's like the reviews become, I don't know, they're like, it's boilerplate nowadays. Great components, great map. Any game that doesn't have great components or a great map needs to get the hell out of the business, because great components and great maps are like a requirement nowadays. And honestly, it's a lot of the cult of the new. So Jeff, you're playing way too old of a games to be somebody like that. But I prefer somebody that puts a playthrough than a review, which is why I know I got on Ruff's channel, is because he does playthroughs. Yeah. And the other channel that I got on to because they do playthroughs is Dad versus Son.
Uh-huh.
They do playthroughs. And, to me, playthroughs are more important than reviews because everybody's got opinions, just like everybody has, rear ends, and
I've got it ready there. You didn't say it.
I know. I was waiting. I was trying to give you a hint there. But sometimes these reviews are just, they're too boilerplate nowadays. And it's like, oh, I need to get a video out. I need to get a video out. And that's where I see that is.
Well, it's like, I joked about Kev being the master of the 12-second video the other day. But you know what? A lot of times with him, that little 12 seconds, I get something out of it. Sometimes I don't. But he is actually in there doing it. There's just so many that I see some that are trying hard. And I mean, I don't know who am I to evaluate that. But then I see some that's like, you didn't do nothing for me. I mean, just because you hated the game doesn't mean I'm not going to like the game. Give me something. Give me some content. I watch Jester's little overhead stream of his games, and granted, I'm telling you, I don't care for those, but I get something from watching it. I watch your all's playthroughs. Tony, you'll get in there, you'll do one turn and rock of the barn, and he had that little click through crap in YouTube where you do your analytics and you can see how many people are just clicking through your damn video to get through it. Yeah. I don't. I sit there and I watch them because I grab something from it. And this freaking crowbar thing you're doing, Ruff, is just, it's awesome. I mean, it's not, it doesn't even look like a game that I'd be interested in, but watching you talk about what's going on, it gives me, so the three of you are doing fine, and there's a bunch of them out there to do. I just don't get how some of them out there just, why are you so popular? You're not showing me anything. But if I read the comments on the right, I get it.
So a lot of people aren't like us. A lot of people are just like, oh, I just want to see what it is. And, a lot of war gamers just want it to be the same way it's been for the last 25, 30, 50 years. They're just satisfied with their stupid little counters that they have to clip out. They're just satisfied with their stupid little maps. They're satisfied with the way things are. And that's the way they've been doing things for the last 20 years. And people are happy with that. A lot of war gamers, because, they don't want to be messing. They don't want to be mussing. They want everything the way it's been. Some of us out here, we don't like things the way it's been. We want to change things one way or the other. We have new ideas. We want to try to bring new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of doing things. Like we talked about this last week. Like literally every game out there, hex to hex, this is up your rally. Just about every war game that's a hex to hex comes with counter sheets. Why has nobody, not a single person that I've seen on the internet, talk about game companies creating specific game clippers to clip their counters? Why has no one talked about this for 25, 40 years? They've been using these stupid counter sheets. But not one person has said, if you're going to send me a counter sheet, then give me some way to freaking clip this damn thing.
But we've all got these.
I wish I'd have kept all the broken ones.
If you watched last week's one, I was moaning because it had broken, but I've repaired it. Look.
Did you drive the little screw down through the top like whooping them? Yeah, I threw all 3 of them in the trash and bought 3 of these.
What's that?
That metal one that Jester says if you get something in. Now learn the trick to these.
Yeah,
you can't get in a funny cut. Don't force.
Yeah.
Don't force. Just lay the counter down in there, just light pressure. And I find that you don't boo-boo on the corners.
I'd love those, but you can't get them over in the UK. So I've had to repair this and touch wood. It's been all right.
The problem with these are their stupid grip that tears the skin on your finger after you do this for fucking 5 hours.
Wait a minute.
Over your hand, which is now a sweaty pus of red skin. Because this is not the way to be fucking clipping people's counters. When I have a game that has 2,500 counters, and I've got to clip 4 edges of them. That is 10,000 times I have got to pull on this over and over and over and over again.
They don't clip them.
Body goes time out. He can keep talking. On.
Why are game manufacturers not required to produce a decent device? I should be able to. Now, this shouldn't be that hard. We can freaking send a man to the moon.
Give me a warning.
In a spaceship, but we can't create a counter clipper where I can put the counter clip in, hit the button, and it's done.
Bring up Steven's comment. Bring up Steven's comment about 8 comments ago about a hobby.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Clipping is a hobby.
You're damn right. Steven's got it right. I think half the fun I have with these games is sitting right here on this couch watching hockey or football or Jester streaming a game and clipping counters.
Exactly. And I've been clipping, I tell you. Next war Vietnam.
So what you're telling me is that you would rather, instead of play the game, you would rather spend your time clipping the game. I'm going to send you a box of 25,000 blank counters so you can get your game on. That's what I'm going to do.
You haven't got it. No, you don't get it. You don't get it.
You develop a emotional tie to the game by clipping the counters.
25,000 counters that are completely blank because you guys would rather clip them than actually use them.
And by the way, Jeff, you're going to hate that game. You might as well send it to me.
Send it to and a set of these?
I'm going to set it on your 2.5. Yes, thank you very much. You're going to hate it. You're going to hate it. Greatest day, greatest schmay. No.
I hear Jester's got one he paid a premium price for. He could send you.
Yeah. You saw it coming. Yeah, saw you coming. Yes.
It came used. It came abused.
Was it clipped?
Counters in all kinds of messed up.
Jester, was it clipped?
What?
Was it clipped?
GTS.
What was clipped?
Great stuff.
Game.
No, it wasn't clipped.
Todd, you're slacking. You charged him a ton for it, and you didn't even clip it for him?
No, he didn't even clip it.
I at least, I sent you a game, and I clipped all the counters before you got them.
That's correct. That is correct.
No,
but then you
granted,
sent me
it
the
was-
first edition game instead of the proper edition game.
Hey, did you see? There's a guy somewhere on YouTube that created a I don't know what you call it. The guy, he works in sheet metal, but he created a 1/2-inch tube that has, I don't know how he did it, but it's bladed somehow, and you could stack counters in it and take it with a freaking rubber mallet against wood and smack it down. It would cut the corners off like 20 or 30 counters at one time.
What?
Yeah, but they're,
What?
aren't they? They're not rounded.
Get into the 21st century? No. Let's not do that. Let's not get radical. Let's not do things outside the box. If you guys would rather spend 8 hours clipping counters than 8 hours playing the game, then you guys are part of the problem because you're happy with that.
It's an emotional bond, Jester.
Yeah,
It's how you put yourself into it.
No, it's not. They've been lying to you. It's a lie, right? Have you ever watched the X-Files? It's all a lie, man.
Oh, keep going. One, two more. Come on, keep going.
And you wanted Kev on here.
There you go. Oh, one more, two. There we go.
That's fine.
Well done, Todd.
Todd, you need anything? I'll help you out. I actually want to get a pair of those. I do want to get a pair of those.
Somebody sent me a pair. I can't get them. Mind you, these are much easier to use. They're a bit clobby, as you know, and it does break. But I'm quite chuffed that I had the wherewithal to get it repaired.
Now, my buddy down the road, I gave him a set of the metal ones, and I keep one of those around, the big plastic ones, because the blind sword games, I think. No, the Huzzah games that I just bought, the counters are too thick for these.
Ah, right.
Oh no, you just need to squeeze it a little bit tighter.
You need to put them in the slot.
Get in there with two hands. Okay, there's one side. Let's move it over the other hand. Let's do that. Because let's not think outside the box and actually create a device that's meant to clip counters or do anything that's like important like that.
Just use a pair of fingernail clippers. You'll be fine.
I got them around here too.
I started with a pair of them.
What a pain in the ass.
I know. I started with a pair of clippers, toenail or nail clippers, and somebody made a comment. He was being sarky. I know he was. He says, "Oh, what do you use to clip your counters?" He was having a little bit of a pop, I think. So that's why because when you use the old clippers, you get one that's nice and then one that's cut too much, and then they look awful.
Hey, where's Heathwell? I haven't seen
somebody-
Heathwell on here today.
No,
I know of somebody who
But,
created a jig with a CD case and used the CD case. So it's basically like those clippers, but it was the fingernail clippers, and you cut off the corner of a CD case and you slipped it in, snipped. So it's basically like the Oregon, the clippers that we have, the big ones. My only problem is they do get heavy, and my arm does get tired of holding them up. Clip. But I can run through.
What, holding on to this snow shovel for 8 hours at a time isn't.
I thought you Americans were built of better stuff.
I could literally, you know what? I could clean the windshield of my car off in Ohio with these.
I could be doing a barbell in this hand and tipping in this hand. I don't know what's the matter with it.
Not if they're broken, you can't.
No, but they're not anymore.
Yes, and guaranteed to break after 10,000 pulls. Guaranteed to break after 10,000 pulls.
Mad Dog, that's funny. I know of a different guy that did that. That's hilarious.
Die. That was the word I was waiting. That guy made that die out of sheet metal.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting. Hey, new game. That's pretty. I'm getting UPS notifications on my work phone. They're not going to be happy with that.
Oh dear. I have to make sure the wife's out when I get my deliveries. Dear, oh dear.
Oh, I've just learned to tell my wife, and it makes it easier.
All right.
And you?
We'll wind up here in a few minutes. So look at our new game here. That's map of the year right there.
This is not the one I thought it was. Hey, Doug. So if you're still on there, this is even better. Thanks.
That's always good.
On the wrong crap, Doug. Way to go.
Even better, brother.
He's complaining already.
Fellas, I've enjoyed this
hexes.
today.
What's that?
I have enjoyed this today.
Well, thanks for coming. We appreciate it. Sorry, as you can see, the more you get Ruff and Tony talking, the less you get to talk about. So,
hey, my mic was gone for so long that
that's the only time you got to talk.
Yeah, I thought I'd gone deaf.
I told you I made a joke last night. I wasn't going to talk today. Said, yeah, right. Like that would never happen.
Ice cream, he's like, I think I'll just chill out tomorrow and not talk. Yeah, right. Like that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Who said hockey? I'm ready for hockey.
No, I miss it.
Yeah, you could sit there. You can get like almost 2 counter sheets done during a whole hockey game.
Are you kidding? I did all of War in the West last night.
That means nothing to me.
2,000 counters in one night.
I think you're lying. There's no
I
way.
am.
You're lying.
I am.
You're absolutely freaking lying. There's no way you could do 10,000 of these fucking clips.
Oh, no, stop it. You have to give me warning.
There, or Todd. Doug sent that to me. Can you see it? It doesn't matter because I'm the one who has it, not you.
That's right.
Clay, if you missed it, here's the first one for that. I got that from Thomas Beach. He found out I needed that and sent that to me.
It's good to have friends. Wish we had friends.
Yeah.
Well, Ruff, you missed out a minute ago when I asked you if there was a game in the United States that you can't get. You blew it, brother.
Oh, did I?
It was on its way.
What game don't you think I can't get in the UK? What game was that? What game do you think?
You would have to buy the game and pay for shipping. I was going to send you the game.
What game?
You missed. Sorry, you didn't choose.
Yeah, you're out. You're out.
But for $80, I'll send you one of these.
I know they're terrible money, aren't they?
Oh, you don't want them. Trust me, you don't want them. These, you know what these are? These are designed by someone in England. These are like an old.
No, they're not designed.
These are like an old ancient torture device. That's what these things are. They used to make prisoners use these things.
It
was a torture device.
If the UK designed them, they would. You would know that you'd go, yeah, that's the big
Pins, capitals, no, capitals. Pins.
What's that?
Screw the pins.
Oh, that's another one of your games.
Well, Steeler fans said, "Let's go Pens." Yeah, I disagree with that.
I do like Malkin though.
But unfortunately, my team is still young and has issues. They made it 25 years in the playoffs. I've watched them win like 5 Stanley Cups.
Hey, the Capitals, we've got Ruff's country's best athlete on our team, Ovechkin.
He's having a pop again, isn't he?
He's having a pop at you. Yeah. Maybe when he sends that war game over to you, he'll have some newspaper articles.
Just a game I can't get over here. We can't get it for love nor money. They just won't send it over here. It's called The Greatest Day.
Yes, that's what it was.
Have you heard of it? Have you heard of it? Can you get it over there?
The Greatest Day?
Yeah.
You mean this one right here?
Well, well, me. There we go. That's the exact way I'm talking about, funnily enough.
Can you imagine what that would cost to get that over to you?
It would cost nothing. It would cost peanuts. It would cost...
We cost him nothing.
Nah, it cost a few bucks. Yeah, doesn't weigh very much, does it? No.
It is kind of heavy. I was actually stunned because I never paid attention to the box when I ordered it.
It's a big old box.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Well,
I'm so
all I
used to
know
putting
is,
stuff on the bookshelf now.
according to Wardroom, it's like $40 to ship.
There you go. I'll pay that. There we are.
According to Wardroom.
Yeah, I was glad to see Holtby go.
Sports is
I
tomorrow,
got you
guys.
on my TV screen. I'm broadcasting
Tomorrow
from
is
the top
sports.
to the TV.
Anyways, we are got to run. So if you have any last thoughts, comments, suggestions, questions, if you want to join part of the elders, the guardians of the awards, if you want to join up, send me an email, idjesterlive@gmail.com. You can be part of our wonderful group here. Send me an email if you want to be on the live stream. If you have any questions, let us know. What else? Anything?
No, what videos you got coming out next week, Jester?
I got some, probably going to be doing some legendary James Bond.
Oh,
Looking forward to that.
Roger or Sean?
Well, you get to relive and replay some of the movies. So depending on which movie you play. And it is quite a little bit different than the regular legendary games. So that's super cool.
Yes, I shall. Don't do it.
Also, some Pathfinder adventure card game. Talk about story. There's your story right there. Which is supposed to be in the mail. It should be here today. I don't know why it didn't arrive. Normally, I get a package during our live stream, but today we got our live stream a little early today.
I think your postman's getting over the hernia operation he's just had.
He is. He is. And then I want to get another episode of this god darn.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. Field Commander Napoleon in. I'm bound and determined to get this 1796 scenario.
I'm about ready to put that up just to play it, just to see how well I do. And then say I won, just to say I won.
Well, you don't have to worry about getting any more Hunter videos out, so you don't have to worry about that.
Y'all moving on to U-Boot?
No. Cracking game. I've still got to do mine, so yeah, I do realise, yes.
Tony, you got you're going to try and get.
I'm going to try to really get Rock of the Marn. I'm going to try to.
You're going to play another turn, and you're just off, and you're going to switch over. I can see it coming right now.
I got to give it at least 2 or 3 more turns. I'm gonna get it.
Looking forward to SPQR because
I've got it outlined. I actually have restructured the rule book to the way I learn so I can teach it. I've done that before. Not with rules, but with like actual teaching. Like I've taken a textbook and re-freaking formatted it the way I want to teach it. So, dude, OG, you just won.
Sorry, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's Jester's fault.
Way too well, we had to, start a little early today, so blame it on me.
Because of the major.
Blame it on me. All right, well, we will see everyone next.
I just want to say, Big Bald Gaming has just gone live. So hopefully he's got his.
He's too good for us, I guess.
No. Just hope he's sorted out his probs, with his camera and that. So
let's hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. Maybe he just, I don't know. He joined. I left. I came back. He was gone. You two are still there. babbling away, and he was like, maybe just like I couldn't handle it. All right, yeah, Big Board's on. Everyone go watch Big Board. We're gonna be going anyways. So thanks everyone for coming out. Appreciate it, guys.
I appreciate
See you all
it.
next weekend.
I guess later.